All right, everybody, how's it going? Right now it's past midnight here in California. Let's make sure that we are live. Give me a second here. And I just got back home from work. Um, all right, everybody, how's it going? Right now it's past midnight here. Okay, I'm live. I wanted to initially I wanted to wait till I wake up in the morning, at 5 a.m. to when I'm fresh to talk about this. But I figured, what, I can't wait that long. I got to talk about this right now because it's driving me crazy. So when I was at work, this happened, and you guys probably already heard it. It happened about 7 hours ago. So this past Wednesday evening. Henry Cavill posted this on Instagram. He announced that, guess what? Turns out I'm not coming back as Superman after all. And this is like insane because remember, he was coming back as Superman in Black Adam movie post credit scene, and that return happened much thanks to Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. You can say whatever you want about Black Adam movie. You may hate Black Adam movie. That's fine. You may not like it. But we can agree or we can appreciate the fact that Dwayne Johnson got Henry Cavill back. He reportedly was trying to get the band back together. The DCEU. Dwayne Johnson's a big fan. And it's like, what? Let's make it happen. Black Adam versus Superman or whatever the plot will be for the next installment. Let's get the fans geeking out. And so a lot of that is thanks to Dwayne Johnson, the fact that Henry Cavill returned. And Henry Cavill did an Instagram video. Remember that? I showed you. He's like he made a whole spiel of a speech like, "Hey guys, I'm back." And the whole big news about he left The Witcher. The Witcher's going to be played by Liam Hemsworth now, obviously because he's going to be busy playing Superman. That was the plan, and that was like what? That was like 2 months ago. But as you know, 2 months have passed, and a lot has happened, including Black Adam not doing well at the box office. It tanked really bad, and um, so now, of course, James Gunn also took over DC. James Gunn and Peter Safran are co-heads of DC Studios, and last week I told you guys that they killed Wonder Woman 3, although there's still some rumors about maybe Wonder Woman 3 might be still be happening. It's up in the air. But the other news is also Superman is in limbo. Man of Steel 2. Superman. It's like, whoa, what's going on? And last week I told you guys that James Gunn and Peter Safran was going to make a big announcement uh, about DC films moving forward by this week. So next week, supposedly, like, oh, next week is gonna be the big. That's why I've been like looking forward to these past few days. Like, when are they gonna drop the news? When are they gonna like? Oh, I'll be at work, but I'm plugging in. I don't want to miss this. And turns out, before we get to Henry Cavill's statement here, turns out James Gunn said that it's not gonna happen this week. So the news will be happening at the beginning of New Year. It says here, Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go. Excuse me. Which we could not be more over the moon about. We will be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Well, that's a bummer. Um, I thought he was gonna drop the news for us as a Christmas gift. I'm saying? Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Here's your present. These are our new DC movies that are we're planning for moving forward. But no, we're gonna have to wait till the new year. So whenever that's gonna happen, hopefully before Sundance. So anyway, let's get to Henry Cavill's statement. So this is so heartbreaking for those of us who have been waiting and waiting for Henry Cavill to do Man of Steel 2, but for a moment there was a glimmer of hope. Now that hope is shattered. It's gone. So he says here on his Instagram post, I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news is not the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. Yeah, that sucks. I, as you all know, my favorite Superman of all time is the late great Christopher Reeve, but I have mad respect for Henry Cavill. Um, he donned the role quite well. I don't have negative things to say about him as Superman, um, or as you say, he donned the cape quite well. And this is such a emotional roller coaster ride for Henry Cavill. Like I said, a few months ago in October, he was told, "Hey, we're gonna have you back." 3 months later, or 3 months later, it's like, "Oh, sorry, change of plan. Yeah, we brought in these two guys, James and Peter, and they don't have you in their vision for DC, the new DC movies." So like, oh, that sucks, man. That's like if you got you know informed by a job posting, like, oh, you got hired, like, yay, we saw your application, welcome to the workplace, here's your parking permit and all this stuff, and then a few days later they're like, oh, so sorry, did we say we're gonna give you employment? Sorry, we're gonna have to let you go, layoff, fired. Oh man, that's like going from ecstasy to agony, like, phew, quite a crash. I feel sad for Henry Cavill. Definitely, I think he himself is bummed out about this, and you can see all the comments here. Everybody's like cheering him up. Um, so yeah, that's what's happening. And so last week, um, James Gunn said on his tweet, I believe he said Superman is our priority. He said that because there has been like concerns from the fans, like, why are you starting from scratch, James? Why are you concluding the Zack Snyder DCEU? Like, why are you not continuing it? Why are you putting a stop to it? So James Gunn said last week, Superman is still our priority. Apparently, that priority of Superman does not include Henry Cavill. So what's happening, Rama? Okay, so he says here on his second thread, among those on the slate, remember, James Gunn is gonna make the big announcement in the new year, sometime in January. But he says here, he's teasing us. Among those on the slate, these projects that we're bringing you guys, is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. So if you're wondering why the reason Henry Cavill's not coming back, it's because, as I mentioned in the title for this video, James Gunn is planning to make a formative Superman movie. Formative is the word, meaning it's not young Superman like Tom Welling in Smallville. It's not Superman when he was a kid or anything like that. Earlier stages. So kind of like Robert Pattinson plays the formative years of Batman in the Batman movie. Remember that? So earlier stages of Bruce Wayne and Batman, the earlier years, of him. So it's not like him becoming Batman. He's already Batman, right? But he's not like the older age. He's not Ben Affleck kind of Batman. So formative years is the keyword, I think, here. Earlier part of Superman's life. Um, so that's what they're planning. So that's what we don't know the details yet until they break it all down sometime in the new year for us. We can only speculate right now, but if you ask me, do I like this direction for Superman and DC? I don't know, man. I don't know what to think of it. Like, why are you focusing on the formative? See, this goes to the also the rumor that happened earlier today or yesterday about the rumor got debunked by James Gunn. You know, the rumor about, oh, maybe James Gunn wants to integrate Matt Reeves' the Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, into the new DCEU. And James Gunn says, no, that's not true. But at the same time, you're making formative Superman years movie. I was like, so you're not bringing the formative Batman, Robert Pattinson, but you're making formative years of Superman. It's like I was like, so now I'm just confused. I'm confused. I don't know exactly what these guys, Pete Safran and James Gunn, have in mind. Um, and as a DC fan, um, I'm just like, here's the thing, Marvel is a well-oiled machine, guys. It's such a well-oiled machine. They like they can just like blindfold themselves and it still runs smoothly, you know. They already got it all planned out for many many years to come. Phase 5, Phase 6, whatever, what have you. And for us DC, now we're back to like not knowing. Now we're back to like guessing game, you know, for us DC fans. Now we're back to like, what's James Gunn's planning? What's going on? Why early stages Superman? Like, why not continuing Zack Snyder's DC? So it's like now it's like all this. Uh, as a DC fan, we're like, oh man, why are we not there yet? You know, now we're two steps back again, two steps behind Marvel again. It's like, dang it! Why can't we be ahead of the game? So that's my reaction to this. Uh, if you ask me about it. So, uh, but as a Superman fan, I guess I'm open to the possibility. It's sad that Henry Cavill's not playing him anymore. I get it; he's a lot older now. If James Gunn is planning to make a younger Superman or formative years of Superman, of course, Henry Cavill can't play him anymore. Obviously, Henry Cavill's already in his 30s or so. Um, so James Gunn said he can. But we had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. Now that could mean a lot of things, though. All right, don't get your hopes up, guys. Um, that could mean I'm just speculating here. Maybe they could work together on a non DC movie, right? Maybe James Gunn's like, hey, we're big fans. We have something for Henry, but it's not gonna be Superman. It's gonna be something this, you know. And for those of you guys who wanted him to play James Bond, remember WB is not in charge of James Bond. WB doesn't own James Bond. But does this free Henry Cavill up for the role of James Bond? I think so, but you know it depends on the James Bond producers if they want to cast him or not. That's still up in the air. We don't know who's going to replace Daniel Craig yet, but Henry Cavill definitely has to be in consideration. If you know if I were the producers of James Bond, I would like he's on the list. He's on my list, but nothing's official yet. But yeah, WB. So James Gunn saying like, you know, we want to work with Henry in the future. That could mean not DC stuff. That could mean just, you know, something else that James Gunn writes or whatever other projects. And remember, Henry Cavill also is part of the Man from Uncle, which is also a WB movie. Who knows if that's gonna be happening? The Man of Uncle sequel. So that's also another possibility. Um, but yeah, so this is the update right now. We can only theorize, we can only speculate, we can only play guessing game. We don't know. We're in the dark until the new year when James Gunn finally makes his big announcement on what his plans for DC movies gonna be like. What DC characters he's gonna bring to the screen. Um, my guess is, if you ask me, if you want to know my concern, okay, for the better part of this past decade, since Zack Snyder took over with the DCEU, with Man of Steel and all those stuff, and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and then Justice League, the tone of DC movies were gloomy, dark, heavy. They're not bright and colorful like Marvel movies, right? The Marvel movies generally are have more vibrancy to it. All right, so that's the difference. Uh, with James Gunn in charge of DC Studios, remember it doesn't mean that James Gunn will be directing every DC movie moving forward like Zack Snyder did. He's just in charge of the creative part of the studio, so he's gonna hire directors that fit their vision. Um, but still though, James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy, right, movies, and he made Suicide Squad 2. Remember that? And Peacemaker, of course, which is DC as well. And guess what? What's the pattern there? James Gunn always, and I mentioned this I think to one of you guys. James Gunn always emphasizes the comedy part of action comedy. So he always cranks up the comedy part of action comedy. So Zack Snyder DCU was not action comedy. It was more action drama, action, very heavy stuff. Very dark, very gloomy. That's the one that differentiates or separates DC from Marvel. But now with James Gunn in charge, like I'm just afraid that the tone will be all James Gunn approved, meaning it's all gonna be like cracking up a lot, every other 5 minutes or so, and I may be wrong. I may be wrong. Okay, they might not be the direction that they're heading, but having seen the Suicide Squad, which I did enjoy, the comedy is just full blast. I like. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want that to be the color for every DC movie going forward. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up liking it, but I don't know right now at this point. Oh, got some spam here. Let me hit the spam here. Ban. Okay. All right. Ban this. Ban. Okay. All right, let's get to the comment real quick here. Derpy50 first. Hi, I'm new here. Kingston, I hope he gets Bond now. Yep. A lot of people are now like, oh, maybe he can do Bond now that he's free from The Witcher, now that he's free from Superman, now he can do James Bond. But we'll see. We'll see. Derpy says, look at this way. That's the problem that had been with DC and WB. They really haven't had direction and stuck to its unfortunate. Cavill was used horribly with Snyder, and WB butted in Snyder's plans to. Derpy says, from what I saw, basically he's writing the script and he's gonna focus on young Clark Kent as reporter, honest. That gives me Max Fleischer vibes. Okay, Derpy, and what I'm hoping James Gunn plan is similar to MCU plan and formula. Okay, I get it. I get it. So young Clark Kent, young reporter, that's fine. Formative years. Remember, early stages of Superman. So it's not high school. It's not Smallville. It's not teenager Superman. It's formative years. Just like the Batman Robert Pattinson was formative Batman. So I can see that. Clark Kent. Maybe I'm just spitballing here in the dark. Maybe the story will be like him, being an investigative reporter, right? Investigating a case, something, and then so it's gonna be more of him playing as a Clark Kent rather than donning the cape and suit as Superman. For much of the movie, it will be just as Clark Kent. So yeah, I get it. I can see that. I can see that. It still doesn't answer the question of how that's gonna connect with the other DC characters. Because if James Gunn is planning a new DC universe, just like Marvel, right? Because remember, the objective is to compete with Marvel to create something that the same success that Marvel enjoyed. So part of that will be crossovers, right? Shared universe. One character showing up in the other movie, vice versa. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how young Clark Kent, as a reporter new to Daily Planet, if you will, and how that's gonna how are you gonna incorporate that character with the Flash or Barry Allen, or how are you gonna how Aquaman's gonna show up in that storyline? I don't know. I don't know. So that's still part of the question. I like the way the crossover worked in the Zack Snyder DCEU though. It was not perfect. It was, in a lot of ways it could have been better, but I still was a fan of it, especially the way it was done in the Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which, let's face it, Batman v Dawn of Justice, that was just basically a Justice League infomercial. That movie was just Justice League infomercial. That's all it is. Um, so yeah, it's I can't wait for the new year. I can't wait for January. So all these questions in my head, all these questions in your head, can be answered by James Gunn. Right now, we're just like grasping at straws, making theories, speculating, and that's fine. But that's all we can do for now. Let's go to Kingston. Unreal that they didn't use him for 10 years, a solo movie anyway. MCU Iron Man had trilogy in 6 years. Right, right, Kingston. You said it. Oh my God, it's like freaking A, man. It's been 10 years now since Man of Steel. That was 2013. Come on, you can't make another Man of Steel during this time, during these past 10 years. Seriously. Uh, uh, Kingston, this must be last. This must be last minute. Why do the Black Adam post credit? Oh, as I mentioned earlier, the Black Adam post credit, that was thanks to Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson orchestrated Henry Cavill's return. Dwayne Johnson wanted to get the band back together, and he wanted to get the fans geeking out over the possibility or the potential of Black Adam versus Superman. That was the idea. The thought of it at least. But now it's down the drain. Uh, Even Black Adam 2 or Black Adam sequel is not gonna happen. Not just because Black Adam did not do well at the box office, but because James Gunn and Peter Safran's like, nah, we're going this direction. We're scrapping all these Zack Snyder stuff. Um, Kingston, I like the Patterson Batman vibe. Yeah, I did too. I did too. Kingston, young adult post college Clark. Yeah, yeah. Apparently that's what everybody has in mind. We'll see what James Gunn has in mind in January. Derpy says that's the question, my friend. I have no idea until we find out in January exactly. But if that's the starting point with Superman and Router, they are going to be optimistic. What they'll do with Bruce Wayne as Batman, how to connect the universe as a whole. That's I guess, even though James Gunn has debunked the rumor about possibly bringing in Robert Pattinson's Batman into the new DCU. He said it's not true, that rumor. But bear with me here. That would make sense, right? Bringing in Robert Pattinson, that would make sense if you're gonna make a postgraduate just got into the Daily Planet Clark Kent movie, right? Formative years, the same age as Robert Pattinson's, presumably, right? Then it would make sense if you just bring in Robert Pattinson. You already got a Batman. Why you gotta cast another Batman? Do you see what I'm getting at here? Do you see what I'm getting at? Um, it would make sense if they just bring in Robert Pattinson. Like, okay, you guys are the same age. Instead of having to go through another audition, through process, another casting another Batman, we already have Batman the same age right there, ready to go. But James Gunn said it's not true. We'll see. Maybe he's just saying that it's not true to get ahead of the rumor. Maybe in January he's gonna be like, Haha, got you guys. We're actually gonna bring Robert Pattinson. Yeah. um, uh, so we'll see. We'll definitely see. Said it would make sense if the Batman wasn't made. It's got a rebooted cast though. Yeah, exactly. So reboot is the word. Reboot is the key word. Definitely. Of course, they can't bring in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker because Joaquin Phoenix Joker is separate. The story is set in the 1970s New York City, so it's like it's not even in the same universe. Um, but yeah, I'm just spitballing. I'm just spitballing. But yeah, reboot is the key word. You need legit story to build upon the Batman is Reeves universe. Yep, definitely. Uh, and lastly, before I end this video, because it's already almost 2 o'clock here in California, I need to sleep. 2 o'clock in the morning, I say. Um, Another thing that I just one last point. It, it really it's like a punch in the gut. This statement right here, when he says, "But we had a great meeting with Henry Cavill, and we are big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future." And going to Henry Cavill's statement, as you can see, he sounds really bummed out. He sounds sad. Um, I don't know when James Gunn says we had a great meeting with Henry, and then Henry Cavill uh, said I had a meeting with James Gunn and it's sad. There's a little bit of a disconnect there, and James, if you say that you're big fans of Henry Cavill, then show that you are big fans. Like, how do you say how come you say you're big fans but not express that in material? Like having cast him as Superman. Like, the, then how big a fan are you of Henry Cavill? If you say like, oh yeah, I love Henry, man, but why the but? Why you gotta have a but? I was like, show that you love Henry, show that you're big fans. Like, yeah, we're big fans of Henry, and therefore we're gonna cast him in this boom 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 boom. It may not be Superman, but like, but this is like you're throwing him in a limbo. You're throwing him in uncertainty. It's like in the future. It's like in the future possibilities. Like, so possibilities in the future that's may or may not happen. You may or may not end up working with Henry Cavill. So are you really big fans of Henry Cavill, James Gunn? Like, I don't know. I maybe I'm being a bit of a hater here, but still, like, if I say like if I had power like James Gunn, ahead of a studio, and I said like, oh, I'm a big fan of, oh my God, I'm a who's the new guy? Oh, I'm a big fan of Harry Styles. Therefore, I want to get him to on my movie. Like, I want to get him on my movie. That's what I would say. Because I'm a big fan, I'm gonna do this with him. You know, I would not say because I'm a big fan of Harry Styles. Maybe we'll work in the future. Possibly, like that means I'm not that big a fan of his to begin with. But that's my I may be reading too much into that. So that's the last point I want to make. This is the update. We'll see what happens in January. It sucks that we have to wait a while. I was hoping it's gonna happen this week, but that's not gonna happen. But leave your theories in the comment section below. What do you guys think the DC projects or the DC movies that James Gunn and Peter Safran are planning for us? What do you think are the DC characters that they're bringing to the screen? Let me know what your theories are, what your speculations are. Okay, so let's check on the chat here. Derpy, honestly, I would have scrapped everything that isn't James Gunn related to save money going forward in order to support this new universe. That includes Joker 2 and the Batman universe, maybe even the last 4 DCU films. Shazam, Aquaman, Blue Beetle, and Flash, I would cancel it all to extent. With the Flash, I would have delayed it for a reason. Uh, Yeah, that's not a bad idea. They would not do that though, Derpy, because the Flash itself, I think the production budget was like $200 million. So they have to, it's like that's a lot of money. They gotta really put all their chips in. I mean, what I'm getting at is like they have to release it. They even despite Ezra Miller's misbehavior, they gotta like because they already invested too much into that. So scrapping it would not be. They're not even considering scrapping it. I don't think so. But the Beetle, Blue Beetle, and all the other guys, I can see scrapping those. But you know what? You brought up a good point. I want to see Batgirl, man. That's what I want to see. They should totally get Batgirl out of the shelves. Let the public see it. Um, before we get into the James Gunn DC universe. All right. Um, I want to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. We're gonna see him also in the Flash, but I want to see him in Batgirl. But anyway, Joker 2. To your point, Joker 2. I would scrap it, because but my reason is not the same as your reason. My reason is they are making it a musical. That's dumb. I'm sorry. That's why. Why the first Joker is not musical? It's like why bring in Lady Gaga in? Why are you turning it? It's like it sounds so dumb. I love the first Joker movie, but what you're planning to do with Joker 2 is just it's just like what? uh, Derpy, like that Flash movie would be complete Flashpoint where Ezra Miller Flash dies and written to where you could keep some of the actors. I could see, yeah, that's fine. Flashpoint, definitely. That's one way to go about it. Kingston, they can't write it off. It's like $400 million. Exactly. It's an expensive movie. The Flash is very expensive. Uh, Derpy said you will see Batgirl in the new DC universe as Sadie Sink. Hey, you know what? I would not put it past them to cast Sadie Sink as Batgirl. Because Sadie Sink, what? She's redhead. Barbara Gordon is redhead. Boom, makes sense. And Sadie Sink's popularity now is like, shot up because of the Whale movie, because of Stranger Things. Yeah, definitely, that's a good idea. Zoltan the Magnificent, no way, a musical, exactly right. Hey, that's what I heard, man. I might be wrong, but that's what I heard. Um, it's dumb. It's so dumb. I don't know why they're making Joker 2. Joker by itself, standalone, was already a masterpiece. Joker does not need a sequel, but of course, because the first movie made $1 billion, so money talks. So there's nothing we can do about it. But yeah, sorry, I'm going off tangent here. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about these latest update. Very heartbreaking update for Henry Cavill. It sucks going from ecstasy to agony. He just got he was just told that he's gonna return like a few months ago, and now he's been told like, sorry, we're not having you back. That sucks, dude. That really sucks. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and let me know your theories. What do you think the DC movies are moving forward that James Gunn is planning to announce to us in January? Um, Derpy says, but I would make her character similar to Barbara Gordon as Batman the animated series. Exactly. I love Barbara Gordon in the Batman animated series. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I gotta sleep. Subscribe. Let's rock this.